because I think we're all paralyzed by AI and all the changes that are going on in our world. And playbooks are no longer good because they're outdated the week after they come out.
You can feel it happening. The ecosystem is shifting beneath us. The way hyperscalers are partnering, how AI is remaking the channel, and what it means to win in 2026.
Welcome to the Ultimate Partner Podcast. I'm Vince Menzione, your host.
We just wrapped up 2 days in Bellevue with some of the sharpest partner leaders in the business. And what we heard wasn't incremental. It was tectonic. In this series, we're going deeper into these conversations. The insights, the frameworks, the real movement we're seeing in this market right now. Because being in the room changes everything. And we're bringing that room to you.
What a list. Oh my gosh. I got to tell you, I was just going back this morning and looking to see, first of all, the sheer number is incredible. But look at all these top executives. These are like market movers, game changers. These are people that are doing more in our world and our ecosystem than most others. And we are very fortunate to have the representation from these organizations and from these leaders in the room. And we try to curate an event that is more than a sales pitch. We're not a sales pitch. We're all about, helping you achieve more. And we try to frame that around operating principles. So a little bit of a roadmap lately. I mean, this started out like, how did we get here? And like maybe 5 spots along the way. But for those of you who don't know me and my background, and I've had an incredible career. I've been very blessed. I did a startup that we grew from 6 million to 125 million, went public on the Toronto Exchange. I'm still friends with the CEO, by the way. Helped him grow and exit that company. I then followed one of the leaders there to go do a turnaround with Golden Gate Capital. And we took that, and that's where I built my first channel. I went from doing enterprise sales as a direct seller, direct sales leader, VP, to then building a channel. And during 9/11, this company was selling rugged notebook computers. Our biggest competitor was not a US company. And I spent a lot of time on Capitol Hill. I met with several congressmen and senators at a time when people did that and they talked to each other. And I built a channel. I've got it a GSA schedule. And I understood intuitively, even from that point in my career, how to shift from direct selling to building a channel, building a business around that. We became the growth engine of the company. One of my partners was one of the largest defense contractors, General Dynamics. They had the big contract if you were selling to the US Army. And I knocked down the door basically and said, well, you got to partner with us. And that's how we got a relationship established. And they wound up buying us for like 10x what Golden Gate Capital had spun us out for. And then Microsoft recruited me. And for almost 10 years, I was the GM of public sector partner strategy. And so I was there, and we'll talk about Satya and other things, but I was there when we started cloud. I was there when we pivoted the business from the old model and working with OEMs and trying to do things a different way to the cloud and co-selling and things like that. And I had a great experience. And then when I left, I was like, oh, I'm just going to go work for another big tech company. I started a podcast. I had a friend who said, you should do a podcast on partnering. You know a lot about this, more than you probably think you do. And almost 10 years ago, I started a podcast in a spare bedroom, and it built a following. And there's a lot of work, by the way. A lot of people do podcasts today. There's a lot of work for those of you. I congratulate anybody doing that. I went back inside for 2 years because I felt like I needed to go back into a big corporate environment. And then I left during COVID. And I learned a lot being at a big corporation about how hard it was to partner. Like, it's still hard. I don't know how many people in the room feel this way. I know the numbers are much better, and Jay will talk through the numbers, but it's not easy. And a lot of organizations don't understand it. And that's what we talk about here. And we try to help people to achieve more and how to get that mindset in the right place. But anyway, so we started doing the podcast. After COVID, it took off. We did an event. There's actually 4 of the 5 people that did partner. We called it Partner Mastermind. We did an event about 4 years ago, separately, and that led to Ultimate Partner. And it's a long history in the last 4 years of 10 events. Like, it's been an incredible blast. And I want to thank each of you for being along this incredible ride with us as we continue to grow and expand. And we've been doubling every year for the last 4 years. And I feel very blessed to be part of this. So I did want to spend a minute with you on this. I don't like to drain this slide, but I do want to identify what I believe are 7 operating principles of what makes successful partnering. And, you might say there's 8, you might say there are other things. I think about principles as opposed to tactics. Like tactics are transactional, they're temporary in a point in time, and it's how you respond and react to a situation. Principles are things you take with you. And that's what we hope to do at Ultimate Partner. Take those things with you and then apply some of the things to the tactics that we need to have. And so we talk about growth mindset. Depending on where you stand about Microsoft these days, when this guy came in, stock was $36 a share. Okay, it's in the 400s now. It was up to over 500 not long ago. He applied a different mindset. The first 3 things he did, we each got a copy of Carol Dweck's book about mindset, growth mindset versus fixed mindset. He brought in Dr. Michael Gervais, who's a leading sports psychologist, like in industry, who is the Seattle Seahawks sports psychologist. Mike's been a podcast guest of mine. I've been to his studio. And then he took down the walls of the way Microsoft operated because leaders fought with each other. They competed with each other for resources, for monetization, for everything. And he changed the mindset. And nobody's a perfect CEO, but if I was to say to you who I think the best CEO of the last 10 years were, I give it to Satya Nadella. But it's about mindset. It's about changing or having the right mindset and applying that growth mindset to a successful partner. Executive commitment. I talked about that other organization. I'll go nameless. But if you can have the CEO down to the selling floor, everyone needs to speak partnering. Like in order to get it right in an organization, the whole company, the resources, the investments, the alignment, all has to align around partnering. Executive commitment is incredible. Tony Savoyan took a small MSP to a $500 million exit, took them to Google Partner of the Year 7 straight years in a row. I think they're 8 this year. But Tony's a good friend of mine. He's also been a guest on the podcast and somebody I've admired and worked with. This is Dr. Michael Gervais. We talk about clarity. Like once you get your mindset, once you get executive commitment, you then need to determine what's the vision? How do we drive success together? You need to know internally how to go do that. Then you lock arms with another organization and then you apply it to that partnership. So that's incredibly critical. Then you got to do everything right. Like I always kid around about my days at Microsoft. We'd have these incredible meetings with leaders. They'd come meet with us at partner conference. I would literally go back to back for several days in the room, slide deck after slide deck. We're high-fiving at the end. We're going to go do it. 6 months later, crickets. Nothing happens, right? This happens a lot in partnering, unfortunately. Like we set up the right situation. We align everybody. We're going to go execute. We're going to drive results. You have to apply maniacal focus, OKRs, everything to everything you do. You need to apply. And by the way, you're going to hear from a lot of leaders here that do this type of work. So this is incredibly critical to success. Brand and story. Like I want to work with Microsoft. There's going to be probably 40 plus Microsoft leaders in the room. Some of them sitting here and around the room. How do you do that right? This is Dux Raymond Sy, a good friend of mine, AvePoint. I knew AvePoint when they were just starting out. Scott Sackett is here. He'll be up on stage. This man was expert on brand and story. Learn from people that are successful, how to be successful yourself. If you want to be a top partner, if you want to grow your business, whether you're working with Microsoft, Google, Amazon, or any of the other partners in this room, you need to be very clear about your brand, articulate it well, and drive a story against that. And that's really super critical for success. And then once we do all those things, we start driving a flywheel of success. Aaron Feiger and some of the other people in the room, Reese Barry, are going to be talking about how they do that. They help these organizations be successful, putting that stake in the ground and driving it. And then what happens is after you drive this incredible success, what does my partner do, my tech giant, the company I've been working with? They go change everything. The market changes. The dynamics change. This thing in November 2022 called AI happens. ChatGPT hits the market. How do I respond and react to that? I need to be adaptable. I need to drive an AQ strategy on top of my EQ and IQ, and we'll talk more about that. So these are the operating principles, and we lay it out as a diagram. And by the way, you see mutual trust. Trust has to be in every room. Without trust, you have no partnerships. Without trust, you have no business success. Like you can get by in business, you can get by in life, but trust is foundational. And I was very blessed to have that like ingrained in me as a young boy. So that's our operating principles. I'm working on a book right now. It's almost done, but we'll talk about that more, but that'll be in the book. And then we've been talking about tectonic shifts, and I don't know who said it first, Jay or me, but I know you said it in the studio several years ago. Jay's been in our Boca studio many, many times. But we've been talking about tectonic shifts. And oh my gosh, right? So think about that. I want everybody to think about this for a second. If you've been around tech for a while, we've gone through several like these 10-year phases. The PC era, the cloud era, we had client server, PC client server, we had cloud, we had mobile, and now we hit AI. Those eras all took a period of time, right? They didn't happen overnight. Like there was a like 5, 6 years, 7 years, maybe 8 years. And then COVID happened. And I believe that COVID was the acceleration point because we were all forced to do things we didn't do before. People went out and bought PCs that didn't have them. Kids had to learn from home. Healthcare was administered telehealth. We didn't do telehealth before. We had like 5% of the population did telehealth before that. Our work environment changed, right? We were doing Zoom calls or Teams calls back when I was at Microsoft days, but the world started doing it. Our lives started to change. That's why being in the room, places like this is so important. And so that really has accelerated everything. And this, all these things have been accelerating over time. And these are significant shifts. We have the 3 leaders of the 3 marketplace organizations coming on stage here, the 3 hyperscalers, because marketplace went from, we were talking about it like, this is really cool, you need to go do it a few years ago, to Microsoft lowering the rates on it. And then everything changed, and then everybody started accelerating, and it became the fungible token. Because we used to partner, we used to take spreadsheets and put them up against each other and try to figure out deals and fax copies of deals that came in and say, we want credit for this one. And then Marketplace became a way to create a non-fungible token and really drive your success. And so we have all the leaders that are running marketplaces in this room, by the way. So this is going to be like the most incredible, rich conversation. Co-selling. Co-selling is a non-starter day. You have to co-sell. Like we used to do vendor channel, which means I had somebody selling my stuff. That's not happening anymore. And Jay will talk about the 7 seats at the table. But these are all the things that have been changing. And of course, AI. I think that we're sitting here, and I'll share, and I'm stressing this, like you need to be in this room because you're going to hear from leaders about what the next steps are. Because I think we're all paralyzed by AI and all the changes that are going on in our world. And playbooks are no longer good because they're outdated the week after they come out. So I need to follow this in real time. And I think this is super important that you do. And it's why we exist. And it's why this time is like no other. I think, we said maybe a generation, maybe it's a lifetime in terms of the shifts that we're seeing. So I want to end here, and then we're going to bring up our incredible friend and speaker, Jay. So this is a place near where I live. If you've been following me at all, you might have seen pictures of this in various points of view. But this is the oldest structure in the county I live in, Palm Beach County, Florida. It's the Jupiter Lighthouse. It was built in 1865. It was built for sailors to navigate the treacherous waters of what is considered to be the most treacherous inlet in the state of Florida, maybe one of the most treacherous in the country, the Jupiter Inlet. It's really a tough inlet. I tried to boat for a while. I used to have to hire a captain to take me out on the inlet. It was that difficult. It's been there for well over 100 years, 160 years or so. And it's stayed its path. It's been there. It's been a point, a fixture, and it's also been sort of a tourist destination for our family, like to come and go have dinner out on the inlet and see the lighthouse. And it's just a beautiful spot for us. It reminds me of a lot about what we're talking about here. 9 years ago, in a spare bedroom with a microphone, I felt that leaders needed to find a better way. Like I saw what success looked like working with the tech giant. I saw what the best did. And there were only a handful that really did it right. And then I invite all these leaders to come help you, if you were listening, achieve more, to be better at what you did. Like I would always ask my guests, like, what do the best do better? And there were great learnings that came for that. That has moved now to this. Podcast became events. I feel like it's becoming a movement. It's really great to see the buzz in this room and the buzz amongst each of you. The light doesn't go out. That's what it's all about. And this is it. This is it for me, right? This is my last run. I'm not going to go work for a company after this. I'm not going to go and become a consultant. And I want this truly to be like special. And I want you to all feel like you are part of it. And however much you want to lean in and be part of it in the future, we want to grow this in the right way. I feel that we have a unique opportunity because we're not a vendor. We're not selling anything. I feel like we're a platform. We're that lighthouse, and others can come in that are experts. And I feel like more and more of them are showing up. And the PDG guys did a great job today, and others in the room, and people that have been friends and supporting us for years, as on that sponsor slide. And so we just want to continue this journey with each of you. And so I want your feedback on what we're doing. I love your support. I love your passion. I love the fact that you're still here in the room talking or being here listening to me today. That lighthouse is you can see these pictures. These are all family photos. We go to that lighthouse, not because it's a lighthouse, but it happens to be like a landmark in our town. And it's kind of cool. And actually, Joe Namath owns the restaurant across from the lighthouse. So we've got to see him a couple of times, which is kind of cool. But I was posting this lighthouse when I started the podcast. And I was, because that's where I live. And it's my hometown. And I think about Dakota rings and I think about other things. But this is what matters. This is what matters, is helping others. And we all are going to need each other in this world, because AI is going to change our lives and dramatically. I think this is a once in a lifetime thing. But I think having people that you trust and being in the room with others where you can learn and grow and adaptability is so important. So analog is the new digital, as my good friend Gary Vee now says. And I think there's this huge opportunity around what we do as Ultimate Partner to help everybody reach their pinnacle, to everybody be the Ultimate Partner. And I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for your support, friendship, love, and you're just an incredible group. Thank you.
Don't forget, Ultimate Partner Live is coming soon, October 26th through October 28th in Reston, Virginia. I hope to see you there.